everyone! Welcome to my third installment of this Pinterest eye look recreation series here on my channel. I hope you guys are still enjoying them, at least those of you who watch them. I know I myself am having so much fun doing this, finally putting my Pinterest boards to use and just getting my creative juices flowing and figuring out color combos and all that. And also figuring out which eyeshadow palettes I really do love the most and which brands make the best eyeshadows, in my opinion. It has just been a fun little journey through my collection, giving some old palettes some love and giving some favorite palettes the love that I already give them. So blah blah blah. I've got 3 more looks for you guys today, one of which being the one that is on my eyes right now. So without further ado, let's just hop on into it, get on into the tutorials. Enjoy! Hello, and welcome to the first tutorial in this part 3 of recreating Pinterest eye looks. I know tutorials aren't a big thing anymore on YouTube. I can see that by the views that these videos of mine get in comparison to my other videos. However, I have a lot of fun making them. It's a great way to be creative, at least for me, and just work on my creative juices and stuff, keep those flowing, that sort of a thing. I mean, how creative is it when you're recreating something? But there is create in recreate and creative. So I mean, there's a little innovation here in that I had to find the colors and everything, but I have got this beautiful, beautiful look here from, no, I'm not even gonna try pronouncing their name, but there you go. There is the artist, there is the makeup look. I think it is just gorgeous, you know, with those maroons, those burgundies, the teals, the greens, the glitter. It just is poppin'. It's gorgeous. I want to do that on my eyes today. I was very concerned that I don't have that blue glitter because it looks like there's a mixture of blue and green glitter on the lids, but I think I found something it'll work. You know, it's not going to be exactly the same, but like it'll do. And I'm just really excited to try this out. It should be fairly simple. It just looks like a bunch of mattes and then the glitter on the lid. So yeah, I've got quite a few palettes here that I think I'll be able to use to pull this together. Most specifically, I think I'm going to be using my Naked Heat and then this ColourPop Disney Designer Collection Midnight Masquerade. You know, these shadows in that bottom row there look pretty on point. The green teal. But then I've got my glitters in my ColourPop Rainbow palette, and I've got a couple of Sephora Pro palettes here as well to fill in some of the blanks if there are some blanks in terms of those greens and teals there. So to get started, glasses are coming off. I think the vote was that you guys like it at about this length for watching me do these tutorials or trying to recreate things rather than an extreme close-up. You want to be able to see my mouth when I talk, which I totally get. It's one of those things where I understand both sides of things, and you know, I get that people want to see my mouth when I talk just because it's a little less invasive, I guess you could say. To not have me be so zoomed in on your TV screen, laptop screen, whatever it is that you're watching on, phone screen. But at the same time, if there are people who like following along, I understand the want for a much closer close-up while I'm doing these, but I'm hoping that, you know, I can just explain things well enough and that this distance works for everybody. So I just went ahead, primed my eyelids. It is getting warm, so excuse me, I'm gonna turn on my little fan so I don't sweat all of my makeup off. Now, as I said, I feel like I could use these burgundies and stuff in this bottom row here. I'm just not sure that it's gonna be deep enough or quite as rich as I want it to be. So I think I'm gonna use these colors from my Naked Heat and then also use some of these shades to help blend out. So to begin, I've got this color switched Real Techniques 203 fluffy blending brush. I am so tempted to zoom my camera in. How about just like the littlest bit? I know, a little invasive, but we can still see the mouth and the eyes. So to begin, I'm gonna do my favorite eyeshadow technique in creating the color I want by a little dibble-dabble-dee-doo, dobble-dee-dop. And by that, I mean I'm gonna do a little bibbity-boop in Cayenne here, and then a little bobbity-bop in Low Blow, because I think that's about the color that I want to create the transition and blend out color on the lids. So this, I want to place a little bit above the crease. I mean, if it gets in the crease, which it looks like it's going to, that's a-okay, no worries. but this color primarily seems to be above the crease, and as I said, is more of a transition blend out color. So I'm not going to worry too much about making this super crisp and tidy, since we will be blending lots of other colors and shadows down here, but I just really want that color there for a good base to work with, and then we will, like I said, further blend when the time comes. Then with a clean fluffy brush, this is the ColourPop E1 brush, I'm going to be taking Sauced and just very lightly using this to blend out the top portion of the colors that we just laid down. So this is nothing too impactful, but as I said, we're just getting a little bit better of a blend by doing this, making that a little bit more seamless. Ah, much better. It's the little things a lot of the time. So now back to this Real Techniques brush. We're gonna get into that really nice maroon, plum, berry, purple goodness. And to do that, I'm basically just gonna be working ashes. It's a nice deep plum color, smoky plum. I'm gonna use this. It looks like they did it on the outer portion of the crease, a little bit onto the lid there to blend into the blue once we're gonna get into that. And then it looks like this was blended about halfway, maybe 2/3 of the way throughout the crease. I'm not too worried about getting my lid all messy because we'll be cleaning that up. Actually, I'm gonna go in with this Real Techniques, I believe, yes, this is a brow brush, so it's a really thick angled brush. I just really want to make sure that this is deep enough. I'm even gonna go into my Sephora Pro palette. This is the Smoky Jewels Pro Pigment palette, and go into Canvas here. It looks like it's that same kind of smoky plum color, but I think this one might be a little bit darker. And I'm gonna use this. Yes, that is what I want. I'm gonna use this to kind of line my crease, and this will just get a really good amount of pigment down, and then we can go in and blend with our fluffy brush. I also want to start to make this pointed triangle shape on the outside of the eye as well. I know some people get on me about using the wrong brushes for things, but I think that's the beauty of art and brushes and tools and all that, is that they might be made for one thing, but honestly they might work just as well or better for other things, I think. Now it's a personal opinion, but it's the opinion that I hold. So I'm also gonna just dab this along the maybe outer third-ish of, maybe outer fourth of my lower lash line, so we can start working on that as well. But once I get this done on the other side as well, then I'm gonna go in, I think I'm gonna do a mix of En Fuego from the Naked Heat palette and then Gaston from this ColourPop palette, because I think it's more of the Fuego color, but I think it's got more of the pinky fuchsia that Gaston has. So like I said, when in doubt, boobity bop, boobity boop it out. Mix your own color, make your own magic. I think that's half the fun of makeup anyways. Ah, looking beautifully bruised. Now I'm gonna go in with a flat shader concealer type brush. This is from ColourPop, their E3 brush, and my NARS Creamy Concealer. I don't want to do like a super cut crease, you know, but I do want to clean up my lids here and give them a nice clean base to put those greens onto. So I'm just gonna place the brush right near the crease and then dabbing my way right underneath the crease onto the lid and then blending that out. As I said, this doesn't have to be super crisp and cut because I don't think that's how it looks in the inspiration photo. Now for the fun, at least what I think is fun about this look, into the teals and the blues and the greens. So I am going to begin with this Merryweather shade from this ColourPop palette, their Disney Princess palette. I believe this is a concealer brush from Ofra. It's the number 11 brush, but you know, it works for shadow as well. Makeup doesn't always have to be used in the way that it is marketed, but I'm just gonna be using this to pat onto the outer third-ish of my lid. It does look like theirs is much deeper than this color of a blue, so I'm actually gonna mix this Obsidian Black from my Sephora Smoky Jewels palette with that Merryweather shade, and hopefully, yes, there it is. That'll give us that dark transition from that plum purple that we had put in the crease, and then get that onto the lid. I guess with the blend, we're blending kind of into the inner half of my lid with the blue. I'm also just gonna put a little bit of the blue on the inner third-ish of my lid here. I can't really tell if the original person did that, but oh, better safe than sorry. And then I'm just amping up the blue a bit. Now I want to start working some of that teal green in, so with an e.l.f. eyeshadow C brush, I'm going to go into Malachite here. And I think while it looks like they used all mattes in the inspiration photo, I myself am going to mix Malachite with Fern, just to give a little bit more dimension, since I don't think I have the blue glitter shade. I don't know, I think this will add a little bit more dimension. But I'm just using this right over where we had put the blue and then where there's concealer still. So it's just kind of making that into a transition from blue to teal to green. And same thing on the inner portion. And then the part that I know I've been waiting for, I'm gonna go in with Frog and Wife from the ColourPop palette. Before that, because I think it's a little bit lighter of a minty green, I'm just gonna, with my finger, do a little bit of a mix between this mint matte shade and then this neon lime green shade. And I'm just gonna pat this down right where there was concealer left, and essentially, you know, the inner half-ish of my lid, just to give that Frog and Wife shade something to pop off of. Wabam! And then to be a little bit more precise with things, I'm going to go in with this Real Techniques accent brush to pat Frog and Wife onto the lid. Oh yes. Oh, perfection. Oh my gosh. Oh, it's everything I ever wanted, at least since I found this look to recreate. Oh, shut up. But also, let's do it again. Now for the glitter. Super exciting. Actually, let's hold our horses. Let's do the finishing touches. It's really hard to see in the inspiration photo what happened on the lower lash line, just because those falsies are in the way. But first I'm just gonna take a makeup wipe and do that. Because it's what the inspiration photo looks like. They had a very harsh line. So really I'm just using my fingernail and my nail with some pressure to create that. Kind of, you know, without the use of using liner, we used such dark matte colors. Kind of ends up looking like eyeliner, which is kind of cool. I'm gonna touch up my foundation there that I just wiped off. There's a little bit of concealer maybe. Voila, Bob's your uncle, none's the wiser. So now I'm using this ColourPop E9 brush, color switched. Actually, phew, I had a little mini freak out thinking I didn't have the color, but I'm gonna go in with this eyebrow brush from before into Obsidian down here for my not ColourPop, my Sephora palette. And I'm gonna line my lower lash line with this. And then with this E9 brush, it looks like they used like this matte mossy green that I thought I had and then I couldn't seem to find it. But I think it's very similar to this shade in my mini chocolate chip palette from Too Faced. So I'm gonna use that to blend out my lower lash line. Now for some detail work, I'm going to use this brush. It's from L'Oreal. I think it came with one of their gel liners a long time ago, but it looks like the inner corners were highlighted with a very bright silvery white. So to start, I'm going to start out with this matte white color from my Sephora Editorial Pro Pigment palette, and I'm going to use this in my inner corners just for that white base. And then on top of that, I'm going to use this like white silver color. Looks like it might have a purple shift to it. I hope not too much, but just going to use that to really do a blaring white inner corner highlight, like the inspiration photo. And it also looks like they used like more of a creamy yellow to highlight under their brow, so I'll go in and do that as well. And now we get to do the glitter! So I'm going to mix this glittery green with this sparkly blue. This blue isn't exactly a glitter, but as I said, the inspiration photo had some blue to it, so I'm just gonna mix them for good measure and then pat it on top of the green. Woohoo! F it, I'm just gonna use my finger. Oh, yes. Oh my god. Noises that no one needs to know I make. Boo boo. Oh, F yeah. And yay, here we have it! Oh, sorry, my camera had died, so I've had my battery charging for a little bit here, so my glasses pad marks are probably showing, but yay! Here is the final look. I am so happy with it. It is certainly a lot darker and richer than I go for, but I think it turned out nice and very similar to the inspiration photo. I wasn't sure what they did for their lower lash line because I couldn't see their lower lash line, so I just went ahead and did like a blue teal color. It's the Makeup Geek Full Spectrum Liner in Ocean. I figured you could do that. You could have done black, you could have done a burgundy, a nude, I mean really whatever you want. Maybe a white would have been nice to tie in with the inner corner highlight, but either way, here's the look. I also put on mascara. I know the inspiration had falsies on, but I just don't feel like wearing falsies today, just in general, but then especially because I'm wearing my glasses. But yeah, I am just so happy with the way that this turned out. It was honestly relatively very easy, but I feel like it looks like a much more complicated eye look, at least to me, but I just love the color combinations. As I said, it just looks very rich and earthy and oceany, and I just like it. It's very jewel toned. I think it's gorgeous. Yay for look number 1. I hope you guys like it too. Hello, hello! Welcome to tutorial number 2. I've got another gorgeous looking eye look here that, fingers crossed, I can find the original creator. Here is the look. I think it is gorgeous. It's simple, but gorgeous. You know, I just love that combo of the purple and the orange, and really I just love how simplistic it is, and then with that little burst of the gold glitter on that top lid. Gorgeous. Like, I have nothing else to say other than I think this is a delightful look. I'm hoping I can get it to look good without falsies because my eyes are kind of bugging me today, but we shall see, and we shall see together. I've got my usual suspects collection of palettes here. My Tati Beauty for that glitter for sure, but then, you know, a couple Sephora Pro palettes, my ColourPop Rainbow Shadow palette, ColourPop Sailor Moon, BH Zodiac Love Signs. Also got a couple of Smashbox palettes that I don't know if I'm gonna need them, but you know, I really don't know what I'm gonna need in general here. Because as I said, this looks like a very simplistic look, but it might be a little bit more complex. I am undecided, but we're gonna decide as we go. So right off the bat, and I'm starting to struggle. So I went ahead and grabbed my Z palette, or one of my Z palettes here with Makeup Geek shadows. I needed to find vintage. I think this is gonna do the trick. Actually, now that I'm looking at this palette that I made myself, like, this actually might have quite a few of the colors I need. So, to begin, I'm going to use like a little contouring pencil brush. This was from a Royal & Langnickel Moda set that I got in a BoxyCharm. And I'm going to use this to kind of carve out my crease here. And as I said, I'm going to use vintage, and I'm also going to combine it just the eensy-teensiest bit with this black shade from my Sephora Pro Cool palette. You know, I think vintage is what I want. I just want it to be just a little bit little bit deeper, but really it's that smoky blackened plum that I am mainly looking for. Okay, I might have overdone it on the black, so we're just gonna redistribute that. We're gonna take this fuzz off of my eyelid. We're gonna do the mostest here, and as I said, just kind of carve out the crease. It doesn't have to be anything intense, definitely not yet. And by intense I just mean blended, because blending can be very intense. But yeah, I'm really just focusing this in the crease. I do think this is exactly the kind of color I wanted. So yay! I've got to come up with a better name than the bibbidi boop bobbidi bop method. But you know, mixing colors, it's half the fun, right? I mean, granted, it's more fun when you just like find the exact color you needed. But honestly, I think I feel a bit more accomplished when I actually mixed the color. So there you go, Cassie's thoughts for today. Oh, my nose crease, why is it so itchy? Stop it, nose crease. Then I'm going to take a Real Techniques 203 fluffy blending brush, and I'm going to dip it into this purple color. This is another like smoked plum, but it's a much lighter version. And I'm just going to very lightly pick that up on the brush and use that to start blending out the colors that we just put in my crease. To do this, you know, you just kind of place the pigment down on top of the color you're wanting to blend, and then blend and distribute upwards and outwards. And really just keep on zhuzhing until you think it looks right. I don't think I want this look to be quite as smoky where I would take this way up to my brow, but hey, we'll see. Sometimes we can get a little carried away with our blending. Yeah, I think we've all been there. Start out, you're like, I want a natural look today. Then you end up with an intense, almost drag smoky eye with false lashes on top and bottom. Yeah, it happens. Ta-da! I think she looks pretty blended. Well enough for now, anyways. Now I'm just gonna go in with my NARS Creamy Concealer on this ColourPop E3 brush that I think I used in the last tutorial. Trying to remember, I think from the last tutorial as well, we're not doing a full-on cut crease or anything. I just want to create a little bit of definition between my lid and these crease shades. So I'm just dabbing a little bit of my NARS Creamy Concealer onto the center of my lid there, and then really only trying to make a defined line in the very, very center where my lid meets my crease. And then the rest of this I'm just softly distributing out towards the edges so that the lid colors will have a little something extra to stick to and also to pop off of. Again, this doesn't have to be perfect, doesn't have to be super duper crisp or anything, because at least in the inspiration photo, it really wasn't either. Now in terms of the lid, it's a little tricky to see what exactly was done, so I'm kind of just flying by the seat of my pants like usual. So to begin, I'm going to take this e.l.f. concealer brush, and I'm going to dip into this beautiful purpley fuchsia color here from the Sephora palette. It's like a plum fuchsia, and I'm going to use this on... Okay, I kind of wanted to wait and see how this was going to show up on my lids. I think I'm gonna need something a little bit deeper even. But if nothing else, you know, I'm just gonna kind of pat this onto the lids, start to create that magenta plum base. I know, it's looking crazy patchy. Don't worry, we will remedy this. I'm gonna go in, I really don't know that maybe it should be matte, but I don't know, I think this will be fine. I'm gonna go in with Burlesque from Makeup Geek. And if anything, I might bibbidi bop it into Cherry Cola right next door. Why not? Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. And let's try this out. Okay, a little bit closer, but I don't think it's quite as deep as I want it to be. Truly a conundrum. What to do, what to do. What to do, you think that's what you should do. And when I really dove deep into the inner workings of my collective memory of makeup palettes, I was like, you know what? I think there's that deep smoked plum in my Jaclyn Hill Morphe palette right here. And the crowd goes wild, woo! Or at least I go wild. How exciting. Great. So I'm just gonna place that in the outer thirds and then blend it up kind of where we had done our original cut. I'm just using the same fluffy brush from earlier. Now I'm gonna go into my Zodiac Love Signs palette for the beautiful inner lid color. I always get so nervous, like I look in real life and I'm like, oh yeah, things look blended and good, and then I look in my monitor and I'm like, are they though? Are they though? I'm unsure, but time to brighten and lighten things up. Just gonna go in with my pointer finger into Gemini down here, lightly swirl in that, and I'm also gonna kind of dip dab into Aries a little bit, and I'm just going to place this, oh yeah, into the center of my lid and lightly dabbing outward to blend and create a little gradient. Isn't it lovely? I think so. Now for the lower lash line, we've got to get that creamsicle, dreamsicle, mac and cheese, orangey yellow. I am going to go in with Makeup Geek's Early Bird with kind of a thick liner brush. This is probably a brow brush. This is from Aesthetica, but I'm just going to dip that in there. And I'm going to just line my lower lash line with this and then blend it out on a fluffy brush with Virgo from this Love Signs palette. I think it's going to be a winning combo. Now I'm just gonna go in with a creamy white kind of highlight here. I'm going in with this shade from my Sephora palette that I've been using. Just on a little detail brush, putting this in my inner corners. I honestly don't even think that the OP had put any highlight in their inner corners, but you know, this is my own personal preference coming out, and these are just, I suppose these are trying to recreate the looks, but it's also just kind of an inspired by. I'm also just gonna pop a little bit of this underneath my brow. And now, I mean, the moment that I've been waiting for, time to go in with the Soothe glitter from the Tati Beauty palette. I'm just gonna use this same little brush. I don't know, I mean, I love going in with my finger to do this kind of thing, but I want it to be a little bit more precise than that. So, so I say, so, okay. I'm going in with my finger, I can't help myself. Just for the preliminary burst of glitter. Oh yeah. Oh, it just makes it. It just makes it. Like, this look was pretty without it, but oh, glitter is where it is at. So, just really concentrating that on the center points of my lids, and then I'll go in with the brush and kind of distribute it outward, make a little burst. And there we have it, my friends. Here is the completed look. I think I did pretty darn good. I think it turned out great. Mixture of purple and orange is throwing my yellow balance off, so apologies there, but I just went ahead and finished it off with a nude liner in my waterline, just the one from Pacifica that I like, and then put on some black liner up top, did a little wing, and put on a healthy dose of mascara. As I said, I know the original had falsies, but I'm just not feeling them today. So here's the completed look. I love it. I love the contrast of the purple and the orange, and then tying that orange onto the lids with the gold glitter. I just think it is something super special. Looks really, really lovely. Really makes the eyes twinkle, and just overall, I really like it. Yeah, that is that. That's the look. Hope you guys like it. Pretty simple, but the way that it all came together, whew, she's a stunner. Hello, final tutorial here. This one is a simple one, but it is still one that I find to be lovely. I mean, it's mostly matte, but it's very impactful just because of the, you know, matte brown taupey lid, and then the bright neon green in, well, it's like a lime neon green on the lower lash line, and then the only, I think, shimmer shade is in the inner corner highlight, being that pale canary shimmery yellow. It's unlabeled, but hopefully I can find the artist. Either way, I just think it's gorgeous, but I am very nervous. I don't have a ton of yellow, but the ones that I do have, you know, either they're too goldenrod or they're just like too gold in general. So I think I'm gonna mix a color. Haha, what else is new? I know, but I think the only matte shades that I'm gonna need are gonna be right in my Naked Honey palette, so that's at least exciting. So to begin, I'm gonna prep with a matte base. I'm just gonna use my MAC Painterly. I feel like it has been a minute since I have employed this guy. Oh, what a delightful classic. It's just one of the few, or one of the couple matte bases that I have. I have already primed my lids, but I just wanna put down a clean base to work off of. Then, hey, why not? Let's use the brush that came with this palette. I know a lot of people hate the brushes that come in Urban Decay palettes. I personally love them. They're super soft and they work quite nicely. Okay, so the blender is a little bit flatter than I was thinking, but I think I should be able to make it work. I'm going to dip this into drip. Dip into drip. And I'm gonna be putting this in my crease, concentrating the majority of the pigment on the outside half, but then blending the excess inwards and also making sure to bring this to a bit of a point because that's what the makeup look in the picture did. Yay for copying. Then to blend this out, I'm going to use a Real Techniques 203 brush, which looks dirty, and granted it does need to be washed, but I have color switched it. And I'm just going to go into my Makeup Geek Peach Smoothie shade. It's a little hard to see, but in the picture it does look like they used some kind of a peachy yellow to blend out the edges here. Then, just to deepen things up the easiest little bit, I'm going to use this same fluffy Real Techniques brush in Sting, and just very lightly using this on the outer third of my lid to create that depth, and then also bringing that a little bit into my crease to once again create a little bit of depth. This isn't super major. I honestly don't even know that the original artist had done this, but it's something that I want to do, so I'm gonna. Then I'm gonna go into Makeup Geek's Creme Brulee on the flat shader side of the Naked Honey brush. And I'm just gonna be using this on the lid. And there we go, easy peasy, simple pimple for the lids. Now for the lower lash line, to get that bright, impactful lime green, I'm gonna use Makeup Geek's Limelight. But first, I am just gonna use this Vamp Stamp Verge Angle brush to really pack on this lime green shade from ColourPop. Now, keep your fingers crossed for me, folks. I got this Morphe Icy Fantasy palette that I still haven't put to use yet, but I'm really excited about it. I'm gonna go into Snow Glow here, which is the closest pale yellow I have. It is kind of a shimmer, metallic. However, it's not as yellow as the inspiration photo, so I'm just going in with this Luxie 141 mini round brush, and I'm gonna start by using this bright yellow from ColourPop. And we're not quite bibbity booping bobbity bop bop, but we are gonna put down this bright yellow first, and then on top of it we're gonna use that Canary Morphe shade, and hope that the two together are going to be exactly what the doctor ordered. Please! This inner yellow really kind of makes the look paired with that lime green. And this is a much more exaggerated inner corner coloring than I'm used to, but again, this is how it was done in the original photo, so I'm trying to replicate it. And here we have it, folks, the completed look. I am so happy with this. It is so springy and vibrant. I did go a little off course in that I just couldn't help myself after I did the pale yellow over top the bright yellow. I just, you know, I had that yellow glitter sitting there from ColourPop and I just couldn't help it. So I put a little bit of yellow glitter over the yellows that I had already put down, and it's just a little something extra. It's not crazy, but I love it. I also went ahead and used my taupe Makeup Geek liner in the shade Spice, and that's it, folks. You know, mascara. The original poster had done falsies, but I'm wearing my glasses today and I'd rather not. So I just went ahead and put on a good dose of mascara, and here we have it. I love it. Like I said, I just love the green and the yellow, make it bright and exciting, but the neutral browns, the matte browns on the lids keep it slightly neutral and less vampow, but it also just, you know, brings out any green in my eyes, and overall I just like it. It's really wearable, it's really pretty. I know this isn't like a super impactful one to go out on, but hey, it is what it is. This is just what I was feeling today, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. So yeah, there you have it, my friends. There are the 3 looks for this third installment of Pinterest eyeshadow recreation looks, tutorials, whatever. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you also got some inspiration, be it from these tutorials that I did or the pictures that I showed, or just gave you the inspiration to go head on over to your own Pinterest board and maybe try out some of the makeup looks that you may have saved there. Please let me know if you had a favorite of any of these looks, and also let me know if you want to see more of these videos in the future. I have a lot of fun making them. You can also let me know if you enjoyed the video, found it helpful, whatever the case may be, by giving it a thumbs up down below. I would really appreciate it. And if you're new here, hey, hi, hello, how are you? You can go ahead and subscribe. You can tippity tap that notification bell down below. Become a member of my casserole family here on my channel. I'd love to have you here. And as always, I just hope you guys are all doing well. And until next time, just stay well until then. Bye!